to. Hey, Latasha, it's so great to be here with you today. So thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, love it, love it. It's been such a delight. We're not actually done yet. We have a few more weeks left in the program that you're in, but I wanted to take this opportunity because you've been having just such fabulous results doing this work and talk about that. So I'm so curious, what had you decide to start working with me in the first place?
Well, I knew I needed something to help me advance in my business. I was already a part of another coaching program, and there were some gaps, and I needed to really develop as a person and become a better human. And so I thought about it. I had been meditating about it, and you came into my life through a speaking event that we both spoke at, and we loved each other's energy. We hopped on a call, and I was like, oh, she's my person.
I love that. I love that. And one of the things that you said to me during, the course of our work together is that there's something really unique about working with me that you've coached with a lot of other coaches, done a lot of other programs, but there was something particularly unique about the work that we were doing together. And I'd love for you to speak to that.
Yeah, you have that East Coast aggressiveness, like I'm in your face, girl. I'm not letting you don't give me any wiggle room for BS. You call it like it is, but from the beginning, you said no judgment, no judgment. And I really feel in my heart that you meant that. There is no judgment with me. I am just going to call you to the best part of yourself, and I'm not going to let you shrink. And I was just like, whoa, that was like day one or two. I was like, ah, she's definitely my person. Like, I need someone to like almost babysit me and make sure that when I start shrinking back, that you say, nope, nope, we're going to move forward and I'm going to hold you accountable, but with love and support.
I love that. I love that, especially the love and support, because I love that you say I've been told by Californians before that I'm such an East Coast person, but it is with love and support. It really is, because I do my best to live in a judgment-free zone, because I've been most of the places where my clients have been, not all of them,
Yeah.
but most of the places that I've been there myself. And it's a journey. It's a journey. And having somebody to hold your hand and walk the journey, one of the things that I feel like is one of my gifts is to be able to hold the mirror for who you really are, and also hold the mirror to show you what it is that you're doing that's stopping you from becoming that person, so that you can more easily step into that person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a result, like, what are some of the results that you've been experiencing both in your business and in your life? Because I know you've been also having some great experiences in your personal life as well.
So I'll start with personal and then go to business because it kind of spills over. I had a problem with boundaries. I've been struggling with boundaries for a long time with my mom, with my husband, with my kids. And so when I met you, you really immediately started asking me probing questions, which made me think about how I was showing up in conversations. And so I would hear your voice in my head as I was interacting with family members, and you would say, go back to your child self. What is she thinking and feeling? Is she afraid? Is it your adult self or is it your child self? And that was going through my head as I was just living my life. And I started to realize, oh, wow, I am getting triggered. And one thing you said was, you can speak your truth, but don't get triggered.
Oh
And so,
yeah.
like, that should be a t-shirt or a hat or something because, like, you put that in a text. You didn't even say it to me out loud, but I heard your voice through the text. And I said, wow, I can really carry this everywhere I go. And I do. Everywhere I go, it's like, if someone says something off the wall, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell them about how I feel, but they're not going to trigger me today.
Love
So
that. Love
that
that.
helped me go into sales conversations bolder. Like I would sit up more, like okay, I'm not going to get triggered by anything. I'm not attached to the outcome. This is just a conversation. And so having those conversations with myself, my inner child self, My mom, my husband, everybody around me has noticed that I'm different.
I love that. I so love that. I love that. Yeah, because what it really is people don't realize that what they're actually doing is giving their power away to other people to make them feel a certain way. And what I have seen you do so beautifully is reclaim your power. Right? Take it back and stop giving it out. And as a result, it's allowed you to be so much more powerful. And you just talked about in your life, but now I can't wait to hear about your business as well.
Yeah, so I have attracted a perfect ideal customer as a result of working with you because once I became more confident and more bold, then you helped me tweak my bio on social media to attract exactly the person that I want. And literally, like within 2 days after you helped me tweak my bio, with my energy being raised, I interacted with someone as I normally do, and she immediately was like, "Oh, she's willing to hop on a call with me because the big promise is different." I was afraid to own my big promise. I was being very humble and meek about what it is that I do, but you were like, "Nope, say it." And so she read it and she got on a call with me. It actually took me 3 calls to close the sale with her because she's an educator, she's skeptical, she wants research and data and all this kind of stuff. But when she interacted with me, she was just like, she couldn't figure it out. She's like, I don't know how we met. She couldn't even remember like how we met, but she knew the energy and the boldness is what she wants in her life. And she saw that in me. And even though she was skeptical, she was willing to take the journey. And I was willing to take the leadership role and say, this is how I work with my clients. This is my price. This is what we do. And then be quiet and allow her to make that decision.
Love
And
it.
she's a high level person that I highly respect. She's a school administrator, and I was struggling in my personal life because I had issues with school administrators before, but I know that this is the group that I want to work with, but I was afraid, and you helped me to not be afraid. And so when I showed up for her, I'm a whole new person.
You showed up in your power. You showed up totally
Yes.
in your power and you claimed it, which is so great. And what has that done to your income as a result of showing up in your power?
My income has tripled over the past 2 months. Yeah, I don't, it's probably hasn't even been 2 months.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And also the other piece of that that we worked on, which took less than 2 weeks for you to implement it, is you went from working, we figured out 56 hours a week within 2 weeks to 35 hours a week, getting more done in that time, right?
Yes, yes. It's now gone to 25 hours a week because
I love it.
I'm being honest with my body and I'm allowing myself to sleep in, which is different. Before I would be up at 5, I would be doing things by 7, I would be out the door. Like I'm not feeling the pressure to go chase people because now people are flowing to me and it feels amazing.
I love it. Oh my God, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Now,
Yeah.
there's one other thing that I want to talk about too that's really important, which is PETA clients. So pain in the ass clients, right? So even from the very first day you enrolled to work with me, we had a conversation about
Yeah.
your attraction or what was happening with PETA clients. And I would just love for you to talk about what shifted as a result of you stepping into your power and owning, being responsible, I would really say, for your own actions and your own, thoughts.
Oh yeah. So literally I've had a few PETA clients, but I will take full responsibility and say that I was helping them get away with bullshit with me. I was allowing them to pay me when they wanted to pay me because that's the way I'd set up the relationship from day one.
Mhm.
I had allowed them to overwhelm me with more work than I was able to handle. Since I deal with manuscripts and editing, I was allowing them to submit more chapters than I would normally take on. And so my work quality went down. And so the frustration for the one client that I was sharing with you, it had built up over weeks and weeks. And right before I got on the call with you, a couple days before, she had blown up on me because the work that I submitted to her was subpar. It wasn't my best, but it was because I had allowed her to give me more than I could handle. And instead of just admitting that and having a conversation, I put myself under the gun, so to speak, under so much pressure with my deadlines that it just turned out bad. And it was
Hmm.
just bad. And so I take responsibility for any client that I've ever had that was a pain in the ass because I knew it. There were red flags from the beginning, and I allowed it, and then it just became a breaking point. And
Love it.
I know how to identify PETA clients.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. And the two things that you spoke about before, one which is setting boundaries, and the other one is speaking your truth without being triggered, have really helped you,
Yeah,
address clients in a way where you can have difficult conversations without them being difficult, right?
yeah.
So that is like so key, is to be like, this happens in business. These kinds of
Mhm.
things happen. And when we can actually step into our power and address it head on, and be in that leadership role, we're actually doing our clients a greater service as a result of that, even if it may not feel like it in the moment. So I would
Yeah.
love if you would share, if what kind of people you think would benefit from working with me, and anything else that that you might want other people to know.
Absolutely. So for me, I was looking because I made six figures as a teacher. I was used to making good money, but I just wanted more freedom and flexibility in my life. And so when I became a business owner, I still knew how to teach and, talk and stuff like that, but I didn't really know how to run a business. I didn't really
Mhm.
know how to bring in more money by working less. And so this is for people who are working a lot, thinking that they need to work a lot in their business, but they don't want to work a lot and they want to make a lot of money. And you attracted me with your marketing because you said seven figures. I already knew what six figures felt like. But when I talked to you, I said, oh, she's talking about seven figures. I don't know what that's about. So this is for someone who wants to go from maybe six figures to seven figures and have a business that they can build their lifestyle. This is what you also taught me. Build a lifestyle business so that your business supports your lifestyle and vice versa. It's about your life, your quality of life, not just the money, but what the money allows you to do. So anybody
Yes.
who's working a
Yes.
lot and spinning your wheels and you're making some money, you're successful, but you want to take it to the next level and live better, call a lady.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Latasha. One last thing before we go. I'm so curious because one of the things you said you were really surprised at, because you were in a group program with me, is the level of support that you've received. And I would just love for
Yeah.
you to speak to that, please.
Oh yeah, I've been in so many other programs. I've never had a coach text me. I've never had a coach call me on their cell phone. I've never had a coach know that I'm frantic and say, "Hold on, let's just get on a 15-minute call." And I'm frantic, right? Something's happening in my life. I've never had a coach read all my reflections. Never. Never.
Awesome.
There's so many things that slip through the crack. And I would be silently suffering and crying out for help, but because of, the bigness of the program or the busyness of the coach, things would just slip through the crack. And with you, when I do my daily reflections, which I got to do my last nights, you just read them and you responded through email. And I was like, wow, she sees me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
sees me.
One of the things that I have really endeavored to do, because I've been in those programs where you feel like you're kind of innocuous and don't almost exist in those programs, and you have, 100
Yeah.
people for 1 hour a week phone call to ask questions, is to keep my programs really small, and then, just roll them over and start another group so that everybody gets to feel like they're getting a lot of personal attention, so that I deliver on the promise, right? That is my goal, is to deliver on the promise. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining me. I really appreciate it. It's so fun to work with you, Latasha, and I look forward, to the new breakthroughs in our last month of working together.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.